Welcome to the Bearded Finisher Podcast, your one-stop show for all things finishing and coatings. Your host, Zach, and a variety of industry experts will guide you through the art of perfecting your finishing and business game. From seasoned pros to fresh faces, get ready for tips, tricks, and trends to elevate your knowledge and business to the next level.
What's going on, boss? How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. How about you? At job site?
Oh yeah. So I have I'm actually at my cousin's house. He has this massive house over up on the North Shore. And it's like 8,000 odd feet.
Jesus, Pete.
Yeah, and there's a couple of like noted people who are like not noted or whatever, big names kind of own the house. So it's like they did the work like 20 years ago, and then now everything needs to get refinished. So it's just been like I've repainted the house twice. It's getting redone, half of it redone now. It's just one thing after the next. But yeah.
It goes to show you, owning a big house like that isn't always such a good idea.
No. Just the average maintenance on these things, I couldn't even fathom. But it's just like he has a 2,600 square foot ballroom. You know, these double stairs that come down and whatnot. It's massive. Little bar in the corner, entertainment center. It opens wide open to like a little courtyard, and you got like a little chipping thing, and it goes right out to the Nisqually River and tennis court on a pool.
Gee, many Christmas.
It's insane. Don't get me wrong. I love having parties here. It's amazing. But
I can imagine.
But it's just it's a lot. So like he has this ballroom. It's all parquet, but it's like 18-inch by 18-inch blocks with the 2-inch slits. The last guy who did it just ran the drum right down the center. So every alternate direction, right? And then they never came back with anything like orbital anywhere to try to like clean the scratches. So when you look down, you look across the floor, it looks all right. But when you actually like just look down at your feet, you just see lines.
You just see the striations, the scratch marks. Ew. So where are you at, Anthony?
I'm out in Long Island.
Okay, you're up in Northeast. Okay. I thought you were up that way. So you're out in New York. You're up there with all that mess.
Oh yeah, don't get me started. I need to get out of here. Yeah, it's not fun. I feel trapped up here, man. Just trying like I went to the city on what was that, Tuesday last week? Oh no, this week. No, last week, whatever it was. I don't remember, the days blend. But I went there with with Maya from The Alchemist. And I did a little presentation of like the different finishes you can get with some of the Alchemist concepts. And we did ASID or something like that, some designer company. But anyway, so just getting into the city, almost 3 hours.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm only like 50 miles away.
You know what's crazy is when I was, before I met my wife, we just had our 11-year anniversary together, like 12. I was divorced for a couple years, and I was like, man, I just kind of want to live in a city. It was Oklahoma. And I was like, man, I think I should just move to New York and become a bartender. I was a bartender here, and I was like, or in Oklahoma, I was like, I think it'd be fun. And just the thought, I never did it. The thought of that many people just makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, I don't like to deal with it. I mean, I was only in there for a short bit too. So to come back, you figure it would take like an hour to go the 50 odd miles. It was like another almost 2. And now you're coming back at like 11 o'clock in the morning. So it doesn't matter what time you're coming back from the city anymore. It's brutal. Oh, and the best is you get hit with the congestion tax and you can't get off Long Island now, basically without paying a toll. Whereas you used to be able to take bridges and things along, like go through the city, you can take a bridge. Now every direction you go, there's a toll. It's great. It's fun.
Man, that's nuts. Nope, nope. I'm out. I'm trying to get. I'm in Fort Worth, and I think there's too many people here. So
There you go. I mean, I've been to Dallas. I love that area, but you're right. There's a lot of people in that area. Like when you're in the
Oh
city.
yeah, they're man. I mean, I want to say the rumors. I don't know if they're true. They say that by next year it's supposed to be bigger than Chicago. We're at 10 million, or right at 10 million, or real close to 10 million in the DFW Metroplex.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's a big area too, and you guys can just continue to expand. I mean, I spent a lot of time out in Houston, and there's just a lot of land out in Houston, just the surrounding city. It's just every which way you look, there's something different, and massive, and all the roads are built up, so you can go in any which direction you want. Like right,
Yeah. So I mean the Metroplex traffic is nuts. My son got in the car. He's 7 the other day, and he was like, "Hey, Dad, is there too many people? Like, do we have too many people in America?" I'm like, "No." So what makes you think of that? He's like, "We're talking in school. We're talking about other countries, and we're talking about Japan." And I'm like, "Yeah, there's a lot of people in Japan." And he's like, "But won't we run out of space here?" I was like, "Well, let me help you understand this a little bit." Said Japan has 120 something million people. I was Googling it. 126 million people in Japan. And I said, you could fit just over 2 Japans in the state of Texas. And we have
that's a way to put
just
it.
a hair over 30 million, like 32 million people live in the state of Texas. And he just 7-year-old jaw drop. What? I was like, we got a long way to go, brother.
We do have a lot of space. Definitely have a lot of space. But I'm just not a fan of the cities, so it's just what it is. Like I just closed on the sale of my house, so I'm looking to make some maneuvers. I'll stay up in the island for a little bit, but I'm
I was
definitely
going to say,
looking.
where are you headed?
I'm definitely looking somewhere maybe to stay permanent. I'll keep something up here because I have family, whatever. That's just not going to happen. But the I don't know, probably the Carolinas or the Gulf Coast of Texas. I do like that area. I think that Surf City area is really nice. Galveston's beautiful.
Yeah,
I just like
Galveston
that
is
whole.
nice.
I just like that whole whatever. I spent a lot of time out in the Outer Banks, which is very similar to what that is on the East Coast. Um, yeah, it's just the East Coast version in essence, whatever, right? It's just a little barrier island. So everything's up on stilts. It's beachy. It's just, I love the area. And then you're close enough there to kind of anything that you need. Like Houston's 30, 40 minutes away. You can get right into any airport you want in a 30-minute drive. It's not a big deal.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So, and I need a beach. So I'm one of
See,
those
I've
guys.
kind of grown into I'll trade the beach for a ranch. Just give me a ranch with some horses and I'm happy.
I can understand how you'd be that, but remember, I grew up on an island. Like where I grew up, we could ride our bicycle and be at the water in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. See, that's my wife. My wife wants to be able to be on the water or see the water.
Yeah, we grew up in boats. Like we were dumb kids hopping in like little 13-foot Boston whalers, shooting across the Long Island Sound, going to Connecticut for no reason. Fishing tautags on the blackfish, whatever, on the Connecticut coastline because there's some good rockets there and whatever. But yeah, so just dumb kids out there with night lights, sitting on the bow.
So you're a new lifelong New Yorker. You've been there your whole life.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So now I'm curious, what the heck got you into painting? Like, was that just necessity, family painted? Like, how did you get into it?
No, all right. So when I was a kid, my friend, his dad was an architect slash like GC, whatever. So he was always taking the jobs. Well, like 12, 13 years old, he's like, come on into work. I would work with him on weekends. I'd work with him during the summers, whatever it was. And And then that just progressed, but that was more like general stuff. So again, finishing and painting is kind of like what I led to, and like some carpentry and stuff along those lines. That's sort of what I gravitated to. I tried pretty much everything because he had you just do whatever he needed you to do for the day as a kid. But once you unloaded the truck, you got to work with the trades around. You got everybody set up. You went around, made sure things happened. Then you got to go like explore and work with the trades. I always gravitated to like the spacklers, the painters, the carpenters. I did not like roofing. I was not a fan of plumbing. I got shocked doing electricity. I wasn't into it. So whatever. And then I guess like, I don't know, my grandfather's an artist. Aunts and uncles artists in one way, shape, or form.
So you have that artistic ability.
I guess I don't know whatever. But at the end of the day, I guess we're led more. I just took a different fashion in it. Like they go more to canvas. I go more to let's see what we can transform your space into, right? So it's a little different, but it's fun.
What about like, because now you're doing more of, are you traveling doing the high end stuff, or are you still pretty much staying in New York?
No, I've traveled. God, I try not to travel. Just because it's just what it is. It's annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It's annoying. You always get stuck on time crunching, and then you got to make sure you're hitting schedules. Otherwise, it's like, no, now we got to extend hotels, or we got to do this. And when you're doing something like whatever, like Adam Fox is doing, like some crazy high end gloss or you got to make sure that that's pop. And if you have one variation, one mistake, and you don't have that little bit of leeway room where you've already chewed it up because it's something that it was like you were told it's something that it's not. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, but it's just what it is. I'd rather not travel, but sometimes it's just you do what you have to do. Like I got nice little projects down in Maryland that I try to go do, often with Microcements. That's for like some modular Airbnb company. So they build these little modular units.
I've been here, Microcements. I mean, like I've been hearing a lot about Microcements. I played in plasters a little bit, but the Microcement is like the engineered version of plaster.
I guess you can concept it like that. Yeah. I mean, basically it's you think of it like MDF or something like that, particle board. It's a byproduct of what it is. So you take like marble stones and dusts or something like that, and you take some aggregate, different sizes, and you put it together with a polymer. And then voila, it hardens at 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 PSI.
And some of them are like, yeah, waterproof.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them just inherently are waterproof. And, like you don't even need sealers for them. You can put them wherever. I wouldn't recommend that because obviously you want to seal it just to make sure you're not staining or things along those lines. But again, you can use it, just as you would a plaster, except that you can start putting it into your wet areas. Now you can transfer it to a floor, so you can have a full seamless system. The adhesion on it, depending on your system, the adhesion on it's insane.
Like it'll stick to. You put it over drywall, put it over like some hardy board, permabase, anything, and it just.
Yeah, as long as you're prepped right and you've done the everything in concept for what your surface is, 100%. I mean, you can go right over your existing tile. It's sticky enough. You can put it on a mirror, put it on glass, whatever. It'll stick.
Really?
Yeah, it'll stick.
I've talked to Caesar at MFC down in Miami. Yeah, he was telling me about it.
Yes, sir. It's my brother. I love that guy. He's good one.
I was actually just texting him. We were talking about Jeff West and some stuff earlier today, but
he's another good one.
I was hanging out with him when I was up in Minneapolis. It's been a couple months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I was up there with him and Robert and
you were at Robert's new place over there?
Yeah, I was at Robert's place. We were talking about some of the Vera stuff and going over some stuff. And I just brain farted the guy's name from New York.
Kieran?
Kieran, yes, Kieran, he was there. Yeah. And that guy was cracking me up. I love him. Like, he's 100% New Yorker. And oh man, we had a blast in the airport waiting on our flight home. It was a lot of fun. But Caesar was telling me about that. It's probably about 6-7 months ago, and I'd heard rumblings on it, but I guess he's distributing some Microcements down there in the Miami area, and he was telling me about them. That was my first real like dig into it and putting it in wet areas instead of doing tile in a shower. He was like, "Oh yeah, we'll do microcement on the floor, over the pan, on the walls, and that way basically the whole bathroom's a wet area." And I'm like, "Oh my god, that sounds awesome."
Yeah, basically you turn everything into like a shower pan, and it just right into your drains. 100%. There are some amazing systems out there. There's some overrated systems out there, and then there are some underrated systems out there. So it's hit or miss. I'm not going to mention any names or whatever, but there's some systems that are just apps. I don't know what they've done, but they figured out the decorative concept behind it, where they're literally making it look more like your polished plasters or more like an actual stone, because it kind of does, like when you put your sealers on, I mean, there is like kind of like that plasticky finish to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's kind of no avoiding that, like that.
I mean,
look.
it's a polymer, it's a plastic.
It's just what it is. Like it's whatever. You can't avoid it. But at the end, that's how you're inherently keeping everything stain free or whatever, or you're keeping it chemical free. You can put it in garage floors, firehouses use it.
So it's good with heat.
Yeah, I mean the main stuff I use is right out of Vegas. Semco, love them, but they put up to Vegas elements. Like, I think most of their colorants and whatnot hold up to a UV of 4, which you're really not going to see much higher than that, So that's your stains, your pigments, your whatever. So your color retention and sheen retention on their product is insane. I mean, they're urethane, the satin stone, probably the most aggressive 2K polyurethane I've ever seen. It's a 50 to 2 to 1, it's 50%. It's very, very aggressive. And when she sets up, I mean, I had it on the countertops at my house. I would take hot pans right off the stove, right on top of a piece. It was old Formica too. I just went right over it. No problems. Never burnt it. No, the oil never has wiped it right off. Coffee stains, not a problem. So yeah, it really is a versatile product that it's just now starting to get a lot of recognition, right? Like, I've been doing this for over 10 years.
Really? It's been out that long?
Yeah, I mean, you're down in Texas. Go to Minute Maid Park, center field. We did 44,000 square feet.
That's nuts. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
That was a good. I did the flooring, the decorative painting, whatever, your finished painting, internal, structural steel painting, the tile, all the decorative flooring. Yeah, that was a big one. that was a big project. I did that. I was brought in as a sub for another company, but yeah, I ran all those. That was a project and a half in 2016.
Good night. So what are you up to now? I mean, like, what are you doing stuff more independent? Are you still subbing with bigger guys? Like, what?
I'm trying to stay away from subbing with people, and I'm really, like, right now I'm more trying to transitioning. So I have some other things going on that I'm moving more into. I'll still always do my finishing. I'm actually in the middle of finally getting a shop out here on the island.
Nice.
Which is it's a feat, because there's a lot of places, unless you've been locked into them for years, you're looking at like the average, like $16 to $25 a foot. So, Jesus. Right, like the numbers are insane. So every month you got to be, and then you have electric, and then you have all utility, you have all the other nonsense on top of that, right? So, and then you have the employees that you got to keep, and then you have the insurance. It's an add up, right? So you got to make sure that you have everything in order. So there's a lot of shops on the island that and then there's a lot of places that don't want you to have a booth.
Yeah, they don't want you to spray solvent. And you try to say water, but they don't even want that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're even cracking down on auto body on Long Island. Like they're like, yeah, we don't want any new auto body in this area. So it's like I think the kids kind of ruined that at like 2 a.m. doing whatever, but it's just what it is. Yeah. So it's very select as to even the areas you can get into. So the rents on those are crazy.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And to do it like proper and legit, which is kind of like the only way to really do it without having a headache, right? And especially with some other moves that I'm looking to make, you have to sort of be that way. So when you start stepping into that world, now you're like, I'm over here, or over there. And then now it's very select areas, very select inventory. The prices are astronomical. So it's what it is. But you just got to figure it out and just try to work it.
Yeah. A buddy of mine, Colby with Colby and Co. or Trowel Inc.
Not offhand.
He's down in the Boston area, I think. I mean, Maryland, or Mass, Boston, Mass area. And like he just moved into a new shop, really into the Vero metal, doing a lot of Vero metal and 2Ks. And same thing, like he was just telling me the restrictions up there are just absolutely insane.
There's no real way around it either. And then it's like constant, you got to have constant inspections and all the other stuff. So it's what it is. You just got to make sure you're on the up and up, which isn't hard to do, but you just got to know what the up and up is and figure all that out and then be able to be in that right place. And then even still, you got to make sure that the landlord even wants that in their space. So, it gets interesting, but whatever. It's just another thing to navigate in the world, right?
I mean, hey, that's business ownership.
Yeah, so like that's one of the things I'm moving more into is figuring that out, and then I need storage because I'm bringing in the Gentilene compressors.
Yeah. You're importing those, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you're importing them and then selling them to individuals, or are you trying to sell them to distributors too?
Yeah, right now we're just trying to figure out, navigate everything, and make sure that everything's on the up and up with those, and they're proper, and then we got to kind of get them, completely situated through America and so on and so forth. But that's one of the other thing that's gonna be going on out of the shop warehouse, whatever you want to call it, right?
So are you wanting to go more into the distributor world and sell like some Microcements and some Veros and some like high-end finishing stuff, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would move certain products like that. I mean, if Robert wanted to offer me Vero Metal, but I mean, he has Jesse around the way over with Abbott's. They do some. I don't know how much he does with them anymore, or in general. But it's what it is, and he just distributes to that. But they, that I'd be open to anything along those lines. Obviously, you have a shop, you want to make space of it, right? Things got to constantly work. So things along those lines is something that it'll be there. Obviously, like we distribute the Wacom gear. Yeah, on a small level. I'm not trying to go too crazy, but just small level, because those guns with their low CFM capabilities, with the X-Lite and the Combat, they both operate right off the Gentilene.
Now, see, I always wanted to try a Wacom. I never could break my bad habit of Iwatas. I mean, I just always used.
That's not a bad habit, though.
I love it. I love the Iwata, and I always wanted to try a Wacom, but then the Iwata was always sitting right there, and I would just buy another one of those.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, no, I have a couple Iwatas. I like them. They're nice guns. Nothing wrong against them. They even have some of the lower CFMs that work with the system that are nice as well, like the wider series, like the wider ones, the wider 1Ls. Great guns. What's the split nozzle one? The 400. It's
The
9
W400.
CFM. It's a 9 CFM split nozzle. That one I've operated with the compressor, and right off the unit, you hold the trigger and sits down right at about 35 odd psi, and you regulate it from there. And
I haven't had the luxury of playing with the Gentlean compressors. Didn't Jeff get one? Didn't Wes get one of those?
no, Jeff doesn't have one. Robert has a couple. Robert has a pair in the shop.
That I may have used. I didn't know he had one, but when we were up there, we were spraying a few things, so
Yeah,
I
he
may have
actually
played
has
with it. But
two of them, and then Chade has two. A couple guys have a few of them. They're great little units, and that's the benefit of them. They're like, I think the box is just over 2 foot by 2 foot by like 2.5 foot, and it weighs 70 pounds. So, and it comes with a little roll cage, continuous duty, 3,000 hours, no oil to contend with. The wheels, I'm working on the wheel situation. I know. I understand. The first thing when I saw them in person, I saw the wheels on like the little 330 unit, the 333, because it's only got 3 liters of air, right? Because it's got a roll cage that actually holds the air. But the wheels on them, they're not really American. Like I'm not gonna lie, like things tend to get thrown around in the back of the van, in the back of the truck. I don't necessarily know if the Europeans do it that way, but you know, yeah, I just had a wheel failure on mine the other week when I was putting it into the truck and it went down. Wheel just hit a side. The truck has like those little indents in the bed. It hit one of those, slid and cocked. I was like, there it goes. All right, fair enough. But whatever. David Lee has a nice little mod where he got some pneumatic ones on there, so I'll just slip that in and figure that out.
I was gonna say just some pneumatics. I mean, that's just the gist of when you. Who was I talking to? I was talking to a guy about some stripper. What was his name? He was on the episode, and I loved his term about
What was
fast
their name?
prototyping. I'm trying to remember. He makes a furniture stripper, and I just my favorite term. I just brain farted the guy's name. Super nice guy.
That's terrible because I need a good stripper since that methylene's hard to come by.
Yeah, QCS is his company.
QCS.
I've got it. I'll find it. He did an episode. His episode is out there. Really awesome guy. I got him through Aaron Moore. That's how I found him and got introduced to him, who does a lot of furniture restoration, old antique furniture restoration. And the whole methylene chloride disaster is kind of what got him into it. He was a furniture restorer.
That's my mother-in-law. She's a furniture restorer, and the methylene chloride, I use it with her. It's just, it works. Don't get me wrong. It's lovely, but you got to make sure you're, Tyvek'd up and you're ready to, and you have a proper gas mask. Like you don't need just a regular respirator. You need to make sure you're not inhaling those chemicals.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff is brutal. I mean, like I've done plenty of tables and stuff, but this QCS, I'll find it. I'll send it to you for sure. But he talks about this is what he really gets into is how he came up with it. And he really embraced this model called fast prototyping, to where it's just like, you can change it. Just get it out to the public and find out what they like, make the changes to it, but don't think you have to release something perfect the first time, because that is impossible. I mean,
I'm 100% with that. Yeah.
When he used the term fast prototyping, I was like, man, that is a genius terminology concept. Just get it out there, take the feedback, make the changes, and get it back out there.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it into a term, right? To kind of generalize what you're up to. I mean, that's kind of what my thought processes are in general. Just get it out, figure it out, because there's always going to be something better, and you're always going to be able to modify something. As long as you have the idea and you have the core standards of it, you can always integrally get better and build off of that. And in America, we have different needs and uses than other countries have, right? But what we all have a need for is that 8 to 9 CFM. So, and the easy portability, plug it right into an outlet. It is 20 amp, but in America, new code pretty much everywhere is almost 20 amps. You're going to be able to find it your kitchen backsplash, your bathrooms, any exterior, to to find that 20 amps is 1, 2, 3. I really haven't had an issue with it. So
No, and everything's going battery powered with the new batteries and the chargers and the electric. So it's just going to get anything that's old and outdated, and that old 10, 15 amp stuff is just going to get updated. I mean, as it goes.
I
So
completely
it's just
agree.
going to get easier and easier. Yeah.
Well, that and what's it called? We already have with those compressors, we have a small pancake that has the universal battery. So you just let
Oh,
it go.
really?
Correct, because you know it's going to be a new standard in the UK. I want to say it's 26. I think that's the new standard where every battery has to be like interchangeable or something, because it's kind of like monopolizing or something along those. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Milwaukee and DeWalt are going to come to blows when that comes to the US.
I really think it'll just make the battery manufacturers just blanket out batteries, and we won't have to spend $300 on a decent battery. I hope.
Red or yellow lettering on it, add
It's
another
all the same
20%.
internal, right? They come from like 5 spots. So it's just a matter of how you pack it and who you pay at the end of the day. So what they have is you just tell them what battery system you're working with, and you get like the little adapter port for it, and boom, it goes into it.
No, that's pretty awesome. That's going to be pretty kick-ass. How long's it run on the battery? How long will that pancake run?
I couldn't tell you. Probably as long as the Milwaukee one will run. Like, I don't have one in stock. I've just seen them. I want to bring some more of their other gear that they have into the country, but I just want to mainly focus on like the 333s and the 330 24 units, and then maybe the optional, like there's like a 440 unit, which is more shop. And then they have like the 660 unit, which is again more shop. And then they have the 2 and 3 phase units, which are whatever. Yeah, like the scroll air unit, things along those lines. But that's all down the road. I just want to focus on this and get our industry up to point, because I'm not a huge fan of AA. Like, I know it gets the job done. It does a beautiful job. But it has its ups and its downs to it, and I know it was invented because it was very tough to get shop air on site, in essence, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still a fan of, I don't care which way you go, I'm still a fan of diaphragm pumps. I say bring back the old school diaphragm pumps, and everything will be solved when it comes to airless.
All right, well, I use a diaphragm, but I have it set up pneumatically. So I've been running the Wagner DD10.
Oh, yeah.
So I have the AODD, the DD10, which is the center flow double diaphragm pneumatic. I'll never look at another air assisted unit ever again. Not a need. Oh, I was gonna say, it runs right off the one compressor with the one Wacom or the Iwatas that I run, and it's just a pressure fed gun. You set it up, you get the little arc over. You're perfect. You can time your. No need for 50 different setups and this that. You just know the needle that you need for your material, and you just boom, boom, boom. Simple.
Well, I mean, I'm still a fan, and I don't know how many guys that I've talked to about getting into it. And this is an episode that I want to do, and I think we might need to I think it'd be awesome to have you on there, and maybe get Shade on there. Maybe do like a little board or something. But like getting into finishing. You're a house painter, you cut and roll, and you want to get into finishing. Let's do like an hour on entry level equipment, skill set. Dude, I think that would be an awesome episode. But where I was going with that was, I have guys all the time when I had my company, and now still like, hey, I'm getting into finishing. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? I need a good quality pump, but I don't have a ton of money to spend. And I mean, I still to this day will tell everyone, if you're just getting into it, go buy an ED 655 and you will not be disappointed. And I've not had one person come back and say, you're an asshole, that's the biggest piece of shit I ever bought. No one. Everyone is like, man, I love that pump.
It's a great little pump, and the other one that's nice if you can go for it is the 3000. I mean, they're just amazing. And now what do they have? They have the 2000 now, the
Yeah,
Titan.
they've got another one. The Titan's got another one out. I mean,
That's smaller, similar to the 655, I think.
yeah. I think it was just a little bit bigger than the new one came out. I mean, maybe it's just a little bit bigger than the 655, but they did away with the 655 for a while, and then they started bringing it back, and now it's fully back in now. And then what's that new company that Adam's doing some stuff for?
Cardinal?
No, they have that new. Is it Cardinal? Is that the new equipment?
Oh, Segola is what they're using.
Segola. Yeah, they have a diaphragm pump now, don't they?
What, the Baltic?
I think so. I saw them at IWF last year.
Familiar with that pump, but Adam said it's the bee's knees, and I'll listen to Adam blindly. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I call him Pops for a reason.
It's like now you got to start calling him. I mean, we got to start calling him like Santa or something. Man, that beard is coming in full.
He earned the name Pops because they, like 2 years ago, whatever it was, they outlawed certain chemicals on Long Island, New York, so you couldn't get certain things. And I was bitching and complaining, and he's like, just use acetone. He calls me on the phone. He starts yelling at me, and I'm sitting there like cowering in the corner, and I'm like, no wire hangers, Mom, no. Like, like, so yeah. So from then on, I was like, all right, Pops, it's cool. I'll use acetone from now on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But yeah. But not to diverge too far from where we were, but diaphragm pumps are we shouldn't have really gotten too far from them because they really keep that pressure right where it needs to be. You don't see that fall off and then none of that.
It's not pulsating. You don't get that pulsating. My father-in-law, I mean, golly, I bought the company from him, and he had it for 35 years. The painting company that I ran. And he kind of mentored me. And before that, when he was in Denver or in Colorado, he painted for guys at daytime, did his own stuff at night. And like he tells me all the time, he's like, the dumbest thing the industry ever did was get away from diaphragm pumps. You could have a diaphragm pump for 30 years. They were easy to fix. They never really broke. They maintained pressure. And he's like, Graco's the one that introduced the piston pump. Love you, Graco. You're great. But he's like, and the reason they did it is the same reason that, you can go buy a washing machine cheaper than you can have it repaired now. It was just a way because people weren't repairing the machines and they were doing it themselves. So they had to make it a little more difficult, and they had to make the parts wear out because
you need to make money down the road. We all understand how it works. You don't have to beat around the bush at it. So yeah, I'd rather be straightforward. But listen, planned obsolescence is a complete theory that I agree with a lot of stuff that we have in life, and a lot of stuff that we get pushed and told to use in life. I believe is an absolute fact. Like we're definitely forced certain things and jammed down our throat, right? Like alchemists, for instance, right? Like we're kind of forced you're almost forced to use a petrol product on your wall finishes, no matter who you spoke to. You were catching.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason for that.
So
yeah,
you get where I'm at. So now there was always a mineral paint. There's 500 of them. You know what I'm saying? They're all using a different level of manufacturing or different tint systems and so on and so forth. But it really comes down to the fact that this is what we were told to use, and we were told to use it for X, Y, Z. Like the same thing with like the synthetic fabrics and a million other things. You were told to use this, so this is what you're just used to hearing. And it comes a household name, and it's 1, 2, 3, right? So I agree with that sentiment, and I think that diaphragm pumps, and not even just diaphragm pumps, I think like pressure pots Like, what we got
Oh
away
yeah.
from pressure pots. Why? Like, hard to bring air to a job site. I see the guys and for like the last 10, 15 years enjoying these Gentilines over in the UK. I got a lot of buddies over there. So I see them with these Gentilines and I'm like, how do we get that type of air here in America? And I was dragging 3 Cali Air 4620s around just to be able to do things. If I had two of them, it, I could do like some stuff, but I couldn't do everything. If I had 3 of them, I was able to like do what I needed to do. Now I have that one machine, and if needed, I'll drag one of the Cali Airs around, and I'll just tie them together through an expansion tank. But other than that, for you to get necessary air to run even a gun 10 years ago on site, most of the guns are running 15, 20 CFM. Now we're starting to understand that we can achieve these lower CFMs. We can break that 10 CFM number and get below there. We have guns that run 6, 7, even little smaller ones. What is the Wildcom 190, the Eagle 190? James Wildish in the UK, guy's a monster. Loves that gun. It's 4 CFM.
4?
Yeah. I mean, it only goes
That
up
is
to a
nuts.
1.4. Goes up to a 1.4. But
Yeah, but if you reduce, you're fine.
let me ask you, if you have a PPS cup, or if you just get your dual regulator off the back of the gun, or if you want to get like my buddy Richard, you could drill post trigger, and you can just send the pressurized cup up.
Oh yeah, just pressurize it. But I mean, let's face it. Like, who was I talking to? Oh, I was talking to the they're in Arizona. I was talking to them, and there's this negative connotation for some reason in the U.S. about reducing paint depending on the application, and it just like it's okay. Like, you don't have to put it on at 10 mils. You can throw some reducer in there and put it on at a proper film build. I mean,
I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, are you familiar with Robin Boston?
I know Robin. I'm trying to get him, tell him to quit being all shy and come on the show.
Listen, hold on. I'll put it this way. If you go on YouTube, you can search Finisher and Decorators podcast, whatever, Mod Squad.
Yeah.
Like, we had a little
Yes.
podcast.
I've
Had a little
watched.
thing going, and it's just all of us are just way too busy. I mean, just think about who's in it. Like, I'm busy. Robin, he's going nuts up in Canada, just setting up this hotel, motel, Holiday Inn thing. And then you have Adam Fox, he's bouncing all over the country. You got Chase bouncing all over the country. Noah's tight, and Noah's just running his business like a goddamn psycho, and he's doing good at it.
Noah's doing great.
Yeah, killing it. Richard Pollock. I mean, it's tough to get Richard. He's 6 hours ahead, but again, he's insanely busy, just doing this, that, the next thing, trying to keep the shop up, trying to pay for this. And it's what basically we run into. Then James, he's got the shop, his partner, he's just getting in, he's growing family and this, that, whatever. So everybody's just super tight busy. And to bring 5 or 6 guys together, it was very, very tough.
Yeah. It was a good podcast though. Like, there's some of those guys that, I mean, I was talking to Adam the other day. We've scheduled twice now.
He's impossible on the phone.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times we've been on the books, and the last one, like, it was last week, I think, or 2 weeks ago. It was like on a Tuesday. He was supposed to come on. He was here in town. We were gonna record it, and then
wait. He was actually in town 2 weeks ago. He wasn't in Maryland.
Well, it was like he was supposed to be in town, so he scheduled it, and it was like Tuesday, and then like Monday, I'm like farting around online, and I see jumping on a plane headed to Maryland, and Jeff West was meeting him. I'm like, that sumbitch ain't gonna make it back by tomorrow. I text him that day. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna send you the new link to reschedule, and he called me the next day. He's like, dude, I completely forgot. I'm like, I mean, that's all right. I mean, it happens. So I think where he's supposed to be back in town in June, he's going to come to the studio here, and we're gonna.
Oh yeah, he's all over the place. He went from Maryland, then he went to the Vero class, and now he's doing that staircase. And where is he? In Michigan? At that
Detroit.
crazy.
Yeah, he's in. Like he went Maryland, then he went home, then he went to Michigan. No, then he went to Minneapolis, then he went home, and now he's in Detroit. And I'm like, God, dude. I remember when he started working with the speaker company here in Fort Worth, because he was just tired of traveling all over the place with custom residential. And I remember going to see his new facility, his shop, where he was finishing everything out for that acoustics company that he was doing some stuff for. Really awesome. He's building it all up a couple times. And I think the last time I went there, I had him do some stuff for us when I was with CIC. And I was like, you look like you're getting bored, brother. He's like, no, man, I love this not traveling.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. No, he's a fun one to travel with too. Like over the winter, we were both in Maryland at the same time, and we were only like 25 minutes away from each other. Met up, had some dinner, a couple drinks, whatever, hung out. He's a great guy. He's a lot of fun to hang out with. He's one of those guys where you actually want to meet your hero, if that makes sense. You know that saying, never want to meet your heroes? No, he's one of like the real, you want to meet, he's a good guy. He really is just like a genuine guy. When it comes to being in the trade, if you just show that you're a student of it, he'll take you in.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Him and Shade, like Shade and I have talked a lot over the past when I was at CIC and even when I had my company in Oklahoma, and getting on that podcast with him here a while back, man, it was just, that dude's story is absolutely incredible.
Love Shade.
I mean, and he's just such a genuine guy. I mean, we had a blast. I got to get him back on. But before I don't want to miss it, because I know we're approaching an hour here. But one thing that I wanted to hit with you about, because we had the girls on with Alchemists, and they talking about the paint, and that's kind of how you and I kind of got into more conversations. Like, I want to hear it from like a painter perspective, because you and Adam went and did some stuff with her and with Maya and Price. And I mean, I am just intrigued with what they are doing and picking their brains of how they're going to market and how they're manufacturing. So I'm like, and then when you were like, when Maya told me that you and Adam, I'm like, all right, both of them are coming on the show. We got to talk about the paint, because I think they need more reach.
They need more reach into our world. So what I'm all right. So I found them last like Christmas time. So like a year and change ago, I found them. I was just because I'm a big Graham Hancock, like Ancient America, Ancient, all that other stuff. I've made my own paints before, like taking egg whites and turmerics and things along those lines, and crushed things up, made whatever. So I'm into that concept. I've taken sand and put it in the mix to get some sort of some substance to it behind it, so it really sticks and has like a coverage to it and whatever.
Some aggregate,
yeah. So when you really want to like go back and start doing some research as to where we came from in our industry, like I think they were spraying paint like 10,000 years ago on cave walls through a reed. They load up their mouth right through a reed, and there's images of a handprint like this with a spray pattern around it. They're like dated 10,000 years ago. It's insane.
That's
like
crazy.
I looked at, like that's the stuff that I like. I'll go into like a 3 a.m. rabbit hole, and I'll go down one of those lines, right? Or like water contact angles, another one. Shh, don't get me started, but whatever. So stay on topic. So like I'm into that stuff. So then I started researching. I'm like, how am I not using like more of this stuff? And I had just completed a project for this designer / architect guy out for one of these hedge fund billionaires, whatever, and it made it in like these bunch of magazines and whatever. I did like the microcement decking, and then they tied it was all seamless into like this real Louise Barragan looking staircase and everything, except that they used the mineral finish on the wall. And the mineral finish really tied in to the microcement in the sense that once you start brushing it up and you do your little patterns to it or whatever, it really gives you like that modelly look. So the microcement can give you a similar fashion, like similar to the plasters and whatever. Just an easier way to get there with a brush. It's not $20 a square foot. It's 2 or 3 or 4, whatever, depending on your market. And you can get the stuff on the wall, a couple coats, and it's done. So we matched the microcement to the mineral finish on the wall, and I was like really into all that stuff. So I started looking into that stuff, and then I came across Alchemists on the Instagram, and I was like, oh God, I was like, this is really cool because they're using like turmerics and like the ochres and things along those lines for their natural colors. And then I was like, all right, what else are they using? And then I find out that they get their silicate and their binders from like this one spot in Europe, very selected area for a specific spot. You know what I'm saying? For a grade of mineral. I'm looking into all this stuff and I find no plastics, no this, no that, no the next thing. I'm like, wait, now we're really touching on something. Hold on. I was like, because I know for a fact that every single painter listening to this podcast has washed a brush down the drain, has dumped a bucket in the yard. Present company included.
Yeah. If you say you have it, you're a lying son of a bitch.
1,000%. And it's not even just us professionals now, because think about every single homeowner who now just went to Home Depot or Lowe's, and where did all that go? If it didn't go into garbage, it got washed out at least once or twice. And then that went right in the toilet or right in the bathtub or right in the sink, wherever, right? And customers are always like, oh, wash your brush out in the slop sink. Like, that doesn't go into a catch can. You're not catching 5 gallons of water, and then you're not letting that sit for 2-3 days to settle, and then you're filtering that water. So, there's a lot of issue to that in my eyes. Mind you, a few years ago, I was driving down Dune Road, and I'm watching every single carpenter and like the spring set in plastic, the PVC siding and trim. They're ripping them right. Oh, they're ripping it right on the table saw, right on Dune Road. Like literally, you're on the beach, like just Dune Road, West Hampton. It's not like what you know what I'm saying. Like, look it up. It's where first MTV Beach House was. It was insane. But they're just cutting it. And I don't know if you've ever ripped plastic on a table saw.
Oh, I've put plenty of PVC vinyl trim up in that Trex board. Yeah, that stuff is brutal. When you're cutting it, it's rough.
Oh, yeah. And there's no angling a piece of PVC pipe down into a garbage can. No, that stuff just blows out in the air. Gone. So all of that I just see underneath the houses and the sand and the dust and the this and the that. The next thing I'm like, I was like, where does this all end up? And then I start like, you're going back years. And then I find out about like that Fierro guy in Ireland who learned a way to fertilize microplastics and like found that whole concept and clean the waters with it. So then I start to see what we're doing to the water, and we have to have a better system. We have to build better, right? Now, you even want to fast forward a little bit beyond just the plasticizers and all that other crap that you have going on in your paint. Look at what's going on in California with their soil. Every time it rains, the runoff is going right into the ocean. It's toxic. You look around the room that you're sitting in right now. Every single wall is coated in a plastic coating. Every single piece of wood is coated in a piece of plastic. I mean, look at your television, there's plastic everywhere we look. And it all melts and goes right into the soil.
Well, I mean, you just think about it as TV's not real, but you look at the show Landman where Billy Bob's talking about plastic. I don't know if you've seen it, but he just like makes the comment like, look around. Like, we survive on petroleum based products. Like, it runs our world. There's no, I mean, yeah, alternatives are great.
Food, it runs everything.
It
100%.
runs everything. And like, he's like, the scariest thing about all of it is we will eventually run out and we have no effing clue what to replace it with.
Oh, we forgot.
Haven't even started on research of how to replace it and what is going to happen to our economy if we can't figure out how to continue to have petroleum products or start. What was he saying? Something like build the infrastructure to do green power, 100% green power everywhere. It's like 30 years just to build the infrastructure to support it.
I think that's going to be a tough feat in itself, that type of infrastructure. But if we start on a building level, you know what I'm saying?
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, if we could start on a building level as simple as paint, you know what I mean? Like, think about this. Anytime you've walked into a house and you've set up to do a job, you come into the room, there's furniture, there's things on the wall. You get it all together if you haven't had the homeowner put it in the middle already and set it up for you or get it out. But everything goes in the middle. You cover it with plastic, right? Tape back with plastic.
Starts at the beginning.
Now I couldn't tell you the last time I bought a drop cloth. I don't use them anymore. They're such a waste of time and dust that I don't have time for it, right? The dust is insane, and I can't wash them because I get kicked out of every single laundromat in my neighborhood. I'm not putting them in my washing machine. So
yeah.
This is the way it goes, right? So now I use Grip Right or whatever I can get, some of that roofing felt.
Yeah.
So now
Still
I have
plastic.
That. There you go, more plastic. It's one use, it gets wrapped up, goes in the garbage, which is, again, in a black plastic bag. So it's just everywhere we look. So if we can start as simple as our paint, and not just that, I'll tell you this, as a painter for 30 odd years, and from somebody who's gotten so frustrated with all of the local brand paints that I literally went to Fine Paints of Europe, and I deal with living 45 miles away or more from my local distributor. You know what I'm saying? But I get them shipped to a more central store. But I'll tell you this right now, I'd rather do that and deal with the Fine Paints of Europe because of my coverage. I could tint my primer, I could do this, I could do that, and it saves me coats because up here we have a lot of homes. We're still doing deep reds, deep blues, blacks, this, that. You need that tinted primer 100% to come to a red wall and put gray on it when you can actually put the color on the wall and get the coverage of your primer, do 2 coats of that, 3 coats of that, and then put your 2 finish on, you're finally there, but you're still 5 coats deep. So we literally proved it at that certification class that we put together because
this is now with Alchemist.
Yeah, so with Alchemist, we put together this. Yeah, I'm all over the place. Sorry. So with Alchemist, we put together this this certification program, and I knew I couldn't just necessarily do it on my own. So I'm a brand ambassador at first, and then I set this thing up with Maya, and then we brought Adam in because he really like rounds out the concept and allows me to be able to make it all work in essence, right? Because you can't just do it with one. So we had yellow walls and like a beigey whatever wall that we had upstairs. We covered it with 2 deep reds, like a wine red, almost like a burgundy, deep red. And then like another one that was a little more brownish, like the hair of the dog. 2 coats, done. I couldn't tell you the last time I've covered anything 2 coats and had it finished.
That is nuts. I told Price and Maya both. I want to say Maya said they were coming. They were trying to figure out how to do another certification class. I'm like, you guys got to come to Texas.
So our next certification class is going to be in probably, Adam's shop or whatever, or in the Dallas area. And we'll do it there. I believe it's going to be sometime in September. So if anybody's interested, reach out to us. Just let us know. It's, you can find us in the Finisher and Decorators Forum, or you can reach right out to Alchemist on their website or whatever.
And I was telling him, I was like, I'm gonna come. I just want to come, shoot some content, talk to people, interview people. But man, just to get people's reaction when using the paint in real time.
It's really a product you have to get your hands on and try out. You can take any product you want and learn on the job. That's up to you. But it really is a product you kind of have to get used to, because it isn't a petrol base. You're not going to be able to just say, oh, I need to slow this down. Let me grab some glycol and some of this and some of that, and or grab some Flowtron or extender or something from the store and just dump it in at a couple of ounces, right? No, you generally just want to use some water just to thin it out a little bit, and you got to kind of like get your feel for it. And at the end of the day, you are painting your wall with technically like stone. It's a silicate, potassium silicate, whatever. So it is getting the coverage from the stone in my eyes. Like you're tinting stone and you're putting it on the wall. So your coverage is insane, but you do have to figure out your working times. And if you have a large space, it may pay to bring in another person, right? So little things along those lines. And at the end of the day, the benefit that you also pull out of it is that you get put on their short list of people to contact when they're contacted by designers. Like I said the other week, I went into the city. I gave a presentation to 15 of Manhattan's largest designers. I think 15 ladies came in at their little place, R & Company, and I showed them the different finishes that you can even achieve with their product. So the first thing the first thing I personally noticed when I got my sample is the hang time that it had on the lid. So I was able to fiddle in my pocket, pull out my camera, set up my phone, whatever, and then take a picture, and it didn't drip off the lid any. It was still nice and clean. So I was like, this has some hang time. And I've done my share of plasters, and I've done my share of Microcements, and I'm one of those guys that kind of gets to know their material and figure out what they're actually using and what the bases are and all the other stuff. So then I'm like, oh, it's a clear crystal quartz binder, it's a stone aggregate, and then it's just tint. All right, so then I pull it out, I start doing some finishes, I pull out my trowel, I could trowel it out. So now you can use it in substitute for Venetian plaster, where your base coating
with polish it.
There you go. It's a stone and it's polishable. So you don't even have to polish it if you don't want, but whatever. So you can trowel it out. You roll out 2 coats. And you can roll it out kind of sloppy too, because you can use some of that, right? Use a heavier, whatever you want, and then break it back a little bit, trowel it, and then do 1 or 2 coats troweled, sand it with some like 320 very gently. And then you could start 600, 800, 1,000, whatever you want to start at, and end wherever you want. You can watch your hand. You can do one of those, the famous one of those. You can do that right and finish. You can get the Chade van picture. Very simple.
And then what I thought was really great about it is talking on the show with them was the fact that it's not something that they are outsourcing and they're like, all right, make me 10,000 gallons and we're going to put it in a shop and then we're going to go sell it. They are truly following we'll call it the, artistic manner. Like you order paint and they make it. You order one of their colors and they make it and they ship it.
Yeah, to be cradle to cradle, you kind of have to hold to certain standards. And I don't think anybody really understands what cradle to cradle honestly means. Like you want to talk about
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, when you start going through the regulations and the list that they have to qualify for. So there's another benefit behind that too, especially on new builds, is you get your lead points. So now you're getting all these extra tax credits at the end. So there's a way for it to pay for itself in essence, especially on newer construction and when they're doing like a lot of these bigger multi-person domiciles, like the big buildings, whatever. All that stuff, you get a lot of points for what did Maya say? I think she said it was 5 points you got for that.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, it was like 5 points, and it had to do with like square footage too. Like depending on the square footage, you
Mhm. Yeah, so you're getting up to 5 times like your credits. So to get yourself above like silver or gold and into like that platinum diamond range, whatever, however they classify it in the areas, you're that much easier just by changing to a paint.
just it's nuts. Like I can't wait for them for that show down here.
It's really interesting. At the end of the day, if you do have something like a hotel or whatever, and you're worried more about the traffic areas, they have the anti-graffiti that falls in line with everything else. So there really is a lot of versatility to it, and it gives you another benefit by being able to do a room, offering somebody a quick little accent just by doing something as simple as brushing with a deck brush one wall instead of flat painting. Same, yeah. You're just
Same
going right
exact
at the
paint, just little different technique, and it can change the look completely.
1,000%. And you can just let your imagination go wild with it, and it'll actually do its thing. So for one material to honestly hit all those little facets, that's one of the reasons I'll say Alchemist paint on new paint jobs first, and then I'll let the customer figure out what they want. But I'll at least pitch my case on every single project.
That's freaking killer, man. No, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to come down here. I mean, one,
Yeah, I'm excited for that whole little situation because I really feel that the mineral paints and building better like that, you're gonna progress further down the road. You're gonna see more of that over the next 5 or 10 years, especially as you see California rebuild. If you look at the fire situation, Maya has a video. I gotta find it. There's a video of a petrol-based product paint in a room with the same exact room. It's done in a lab, and the other room is based with their paint, and they lit the corner on fire, or it might have been a mineral paint. Don't like, but I believe. And they lit the corner on fire. Same exact fire, same everything. It was like 3 or 4 times longer to get to the fire before it expanded in the mineral paint finish. You should have seen the time difference, like the petrol
the
finish, your
time
regular
lapse.
conditioning
That's
latex.
yeah. I mean,
It went so fast, it went right up the wall. Whereas the mineral paint, it took, I would say, 30 seconds to a minute longer than the other wall to catch up. And then when it spread real slow. So it actually would give you time to catch something versus just once it's up, and there's no real fighting it.
that's crazy, man. Well, that'll be fun. I mean, and it goes back to you've got to start somewhere. I mean, I posted a quote the other day that I heard that I just think is still one of the greatest quotes that I've heard in a long time. It's like, you don't got to be great to start, but you got to start to be great.
Yeah, I actually just saw that post of yours last night, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, man, that hits true in just about everything. Like you don't got to be the best. But you got to freaking start.
Got to start somewhere, right? And I'm a firm believer of it all starts with like a will, a want, or like a desire, right? So if you have one of those couple little traits, you can build the rest of it. But if you don't have a will to do something, a want to do something, or the desire to do something, you're never going to start it. So, that's just something I completely agree with. Completely. But anyway, it's been a pleasure. I got to get back to this
Yeah,
parquet.
I say, yeah, you got to get back to work.
Listen, there's plenty of people will tell you, and you'll learn from talking. I'll keep you on here for 3, 4, 5 hours. Don't even get it twisted. We'll do 2, 3, 4 hours on the phone with somebody at lunch just shooting the shit. I'm bad like that.
We'll get back on when you're back in town. But man, I appreciate you coming on. Awesome information. We'll do another episode soon, and you guys don't forget to like, follow.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to follow up with that whole thing that you mentioned with the diaphragm pump class and shade and whatnot. I would love to fly for that stuff for whatever that is. Hundred
Yeah, let's
percent.
talk offline and we'll get a class go. We'll get a longer episode one, maybe a multi-part where we start talking about the proper equipment to get back into finishing and what people need and what's hype and
I'm
what's
all
not.
about that stuff. Completely all about that stuff. We get a couple quick guys on that conversation to really pitch in their thoughts because you got to have more than one side to it. But I'm completely in on that. But we can always follow this up on the forum at the Finisher and Decorators, and then continue to move forward. Lots of stuff to learn.
Sounds good. Yes, there is, man. Again, Anthony, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys are following us. Give me a like down there and make sure you guys go follow Anthony. If you're not, you're really missing out on some killer content. Go follow him on social media. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Bearded Finisher Podcast. We thank everyone for joining. Keep hustling, keep learning, and never settle for anything less than your best. Remember, the path to perfection is a journey, not a destination. Until next time.